Oh, all right. Now you can introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Hayley Daniels. I am 27 years old, living in Austin, Texas, and I am a creative person in general. I'm currently working towards my MFA in screenwriting at the University of Texas at Austin. I want to be a writer and a director and a filmmaker and a comedian and as many hyphenates as I can fit in this lifetime, but definitely in the arts, in film mostly, in TV mostly, and in comedy.
Yeah, that is so awesome. That is like incredible. It's truly incredible. So what inspired you to get into the creative field and wanting to become a creative personality really and take that to the next level? Like what inspired you to do that?
I was creative for like as long as I can remember. My mom really encouraged me, and I know like a lot of times people in the arts, their parents aren't always the most encouraging because they're like, "How are you going to make money from that?" But my mom
Mhm.
always pushed me again and again, like, "Oh, follow your dreams, do the thing that you love to do." Follow that. And then in elementary school, I did this thing called Odyssey of the Mind, which a lot of people don't know about, but people who do know about it, it's like we have this bond. And it's kind of like um, almost like a chess club or like an academic decathlon, except the thing that you're competing in is creativity. It's competitive creativity, which is like really great. But you're given like a few months to write your own skit. You have like a 7-minute skit that you're going to perform based on all these like parameters they give you. So they give you like a theme and they give you all these rules, and you have 7 minutes to like perform the skit that like fits all the rules but like goes outside of the box of the rules. And so it's like I learned how to create with inside guidelines, and I did that competitively, and then my team like won. Like I have never walked away from a competition without a medal. Like I will always have a medal from Odyssey of Mind. And like some of the themes we had were like in your dreams, and so we like were playing that we were in a nightmare. Like that was the theme. So it was like we were in a nightmare and there was this monster attacking us, and then the monster transformed into a fairy princess. So like that was an example of what we did. It's a team of 7 kids, and um no outside assistant from adults. So like that's the thing, is like your mom can't help you. And that's why my mom signed me up, because my mom was like, the first year I was like, can I do this? And my mom was like, that sounds like a pain in my butt. No. And the second year, my teacher was smart and knew my mom wasn't like, my mom was like the mom that signed up for paper plates and napkins at like um, school events. And she was like, wait a minute, I know how to get you. And she was like, there's no outside parent assistance. You have to do it all yourself. So I told my mom that. I was like, Mom, you don't have to do anything. And then she was like, okay, you can sign up.
Wow.
And so because of that, I just learned to be independent since age 10 on like creativity. And it's like my mom can't help me, so I got to figure it out myself.
Yeah, that is awesome. That you know what? And that's that like honestly is like something that I can relate to with you because I go through the same exact thing. Like I really do. I do. Like especially like being in like journalism and media and stuff. Your family always wonders like how are you gonna make money off of this? How are you gonna make money off this? And like what I tell them, it's about building your creativity mind, building your brand, making sure that people are in tune with it and love it and appreciate it and make sure that it has value instead of worrying about the dollar signs because that's going to be more important. When
Yeah.
people, your work is going to be more important than that dollar sign. The dollar sign will come when it comes. You cannot rush that process.
That's where I'm
And
at in life.
yeah, you just can't rush that process. You have to continue to keep being creative and keep building. And the more you keep building, the more it'll pay off in the end. And it's just like you enjoy it. It's something that you love to do. It's something that you want to do in the, potentially fully. And when that time comes, you will know. You will definitely know. you know, your bank account is gonna show it, but it's just like you will know. So it's like it's just you have to be able to take that time to really look within your life and just understand that, and they're not going to be able to understand. They may understand in the future, but they understand once they see dollar signs. They don't understand your process and creativity and what you're trying to build and how you're trying to build it. They don't care about that. They're just like, oh, where's the money at? Like, mom, dad, I got this. Trust the process.
Definitely.
And that's why I say I can relate to you on that situation, because it's like that's kind of that's what I'm going through too. So it's we're both in that same boat, and that's something, and truly that I really can relate to you. So what kind of films, movies, TV shows, what kind of stuff would you like to create as a writer? What's your genre that you're leaning towards, that you've been creating more of?
So lately, all I've been writing have been like teen and like young adult stories or like middle school stories. I taught middle school theater for 3 years. That was like my first job out of college. And I feel like those kids are just like still stuck in my heart. And so like just been leaning into that lately. And like sometimes my ideas change, or sometimes my ideas aren't as like kid friendly. But the ones I've been developing lately have been like a Disney Channel show or like a Nickelodeon show, like Carly, Hannah Montana. And I've been just been writing a lot of those stories. Like right now, I'm writing a story about like a teen that's really into astrology. And she goes to a science academy where like everyone's like, "What? You can't like astrology? That's a pseudoscience." And she's like, "I can do both." Which just feels like, I think, relatable. I think it's one of those, being a weird artsy kid in a world that doesn't always value the like weirdness.
That's
I
awesome,
think
man.
I think kids need those stories though.
They really do. I think they really do. I think it really would be inspiring if we could, teach kids more stories that actually teach life lessons.
Yeah.
Really awesome. That is actually quite awesome. That is very, very awesome. So now I gotta ask you your favorite, another question, because we have to ask all the artists and writers and people who are in that field, what are your favorite kind of movies or genre of movies or TV shows that you like to watch?
I really love like romantic comedies. I really love like high school movies. I love like 10 Things I Hate About You. Mean Girls was my bread and butter growing up because I
Mm.
loved Tina Fey. Everything Reese Witherspoon, I really love those. I like chick flicks, I guess. And like I have this opinion that like they're just as valuable as like The Godfather or like all these like super masculine movies that we studied in film school. I'm like, all of those are just like stories about like divine feminine succeeding and persisting, and that matters to me so much. I also love Disney movies, Pixar movies, just because Pixar is just terrific storytelling. um,
Mm. See,
yeah.
that's awesome. Hey, and that's gonna be cool because when people hear this interview, they're gonna connect the dots. They're like, "Oh, she watched these movies, but she writes about these type of things too. It connects now.
Yeah.
Wow." So yeah, see, I had to ask that question because it's like, okay, she's writing these type of content and this type of content, about these type of things. So what does she like to watch? What is on her mind when she watches 24/7? What does she write on paper about what she watches? So it's just like those questions always tie in together. Such a great thing. So what is a positive message you would like to give to other writers out there who are wanting to do what you are doing?
I think for me, it's that no one can give you permission to create. Like the only person who can give you permission to create is yourself. And in whatever way you create, it's just like about showing up and trying. And I did this thing during the pandemic. I was in grad school, so I had the time. I was fortunate for that. I know a lot of people don't have the time, and that can be a scarcity in some people's lives. And I wrote for an hour every day for 30 days starting March 1st. And then like March 13th was when my school shut down and we weren't going to go back to class, but I had already set this goal and I was like, well, I'm going to see it through. And I just kept writing and writing and writing. And I wrote like over 200 hours last year. And that discipline helped me in showing up and just like being able to sit down and write. And this year I haven't been as disciplined, but I haven't needed to, because it's like I practiced that last year. This year it's just about listening to my body and listening to my spirit and being like, I can't write today, and not showing up. So I think it's like, it's finding that balance of like having discipline and showing up, and then also just being okay with yourself when it's like, I can't create anything today, because it's like energy's finite. If you don't have the energy, you can't create. It takes so much energy to create. And I think people don't realize that, because it's like sometimes I'm just sitting here and writing. But if I write like I can't write more than 3 hours a day. If I do, I'm like spent. And if I write the full 3 hours, I'm spent the next day. So I can only do about like an hour a day, 2 hours a day. That's it.
It probably gets cramped up too. You probably get cramped up too.
Oh yeah, I had to go to physical therapy for like writing and being on Zoom all the time this year because my back was too weak. It was
Ooh.
bad. I was
Ooh.
like, I was sitting too much like this, and my muscles got too tight.
See, I think that's what's happening with me too, because like currently my situation, I'm temporarily working at a car dealership, and I work in the back department where we're on the computer, and the hours are from like 11 to 7,
Oh no.
sitting on that computer for 8 hours. And I work with a bunch of girls, and there's one guy, like two guys in there, and it's just it's reeking. It is so reeking. Like you sit there for hours and hours, and you want to take a break, but it's like when you're there, if the manager's there, if the manager's there, she's so overbearing. It's like she wants you to stay stuck to that screen. It's kind of hard to get your eyes off of the screen. It's kind of hard to just be like, yo, I gotta let this go. So I'm like now at this point where I'm like, okay, the interviews are not doing this to me. They're not affecting my life, because I take breaks when I do interviews. Like I'll reach out to a bunch of people, put my phone down for like 20, 30 minutes and then come back. But with that, it's just like you have somebody over you just being overbearing, and oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, gotta do this. Like, bro, I need to take a break for like 5 minutes from the screen. I can't do this, you know. So I'm about to start learning this habit since I'm taking working these long hours. Like I said, it's temporary because I'm not gonna be able to do that for long. Um, I'm gonna start taking like 5, 10 minutes breaks from this computer and like literally resting my eyes, because I cannot continue to do that. So again, here's another situation where I completely understand where you're coming from, because it's just like that overbearingness of that. It's just it's too much. But you're doing something that is beneficial and creative that helps you in the long run, and I'm doing something that's just training my life. So it's like it it's really a self of balance there, like you said. So that's awesome. I do appreciate that. Balance is important, and the key is consistency. Yeah. So what is a daily routine for you like?
Yeah, so I meditate every day. I journal just about every day. Some days I take off, but like that's the thing is like I meditate, journal, write for an hour, and exercise. Like those are my four things that if I had like a really terrific day, I did those four things. Um, hopefully. And so it's just that those things help keep me grounded. They help me keep me on routine. They help keep me like focused on producing stuff, but they also just keep me sane. Um, like for meditating, I pay for this astrology app, but it's okay. I can claim it on my taxes because I write about astrology so much. But I have this Chani app. She's like she's kind of taken off with astrology. She has this book, You Were Born for This. And
Wow.
my friend got me into her, Chani Nicholas. And then she was like, I'm paying for the astrology app. And then she was like sending me her daily horoscopes and stuff. And I was like, well, now I want that. And what I like about Chani is that it's not just like some like, ooh, predictive, you're gonna get money today. It's like talking about the energies of like the planets. It's talking about kind of like it connects you with nature. It's like you thinking about like the time of the year or like the full moon, and it's like those are things like I feel like as a culture we've forgotten about because now we're just like indoors in our computers so much. And every week she releases a guided meditation that kind of has to do with like the energy of the week. So like this week it's a new moon guided meditation for the new moon in Cancer, and so it's like, okay, I can think about the archetypes associated with Cancer, the zodiac sign. I can think about how that like aligns for me, how that's showing up in my life right now, and I just kind of reflect on that. So it kind of focuses where I reflect, and then I journal about it. And I got into journaling because I'm like a very anxious person, and I just have so much thoughts all the time. Like my brain is never quiet. I found out some people don't have an inner narrator in their head, and I'm like, what's that like? That would be terrific. Because like she is just talking all the time. And so part of how I get her to quiet down is I like write just like stream of consciousness, everything that's coming through. And then I'm in therapy and I talked to my therapist about this, and she was like, oh, just make it a ritual. And at the end of journaling, you just say to yourself, ego, you may rest. Because that's who she is. That's my ego. And then that helps because it's like, she's not alerting me all the time. Because like that's what your ego is supposed to do. It's supposed to keep you alive. It's supposed to be like, you're gonna get eaten by a giant chicken. Like that's the message. But there aren't giant chickens around anymore. Like for the most part, we're pretty safe. And so I just kind of like am like, hey, you're good. Thanks for the messages. Thanks for warning me about all the ways I could die today. I listened. I took those in mind. If there's an emergency situation, you can alert me. But for right now, like you're on break. You can just like chill out today. So journaling is like really important for me. And then exercise that just helps me move my body, and I'm hyper and I just have like so much energy all the time, and so I'm like I have to put it somewhere, and so those things help me. And then writing, because that's the thing that I do, so I have to show up for that.
Oh, wow, that is incredible. Wow. You
Yeah.
know what? It's amazing hearing your story because it's like I'm feeling those vibes that I'm going through myself. Like I even feel like sometimes I need therapy because I have I have a bad money problem. That's my issue. Um
Hmm.
I can make it, but I spend it.
Yeah.
And it's a habit. It's a bad habit. And so I was talking to my mom yesterday. She was like, you might need to go to therapy, talk to a therapist about it. They can help you learn how to manage your money, how to manage it yourself. Cause it's like you got everything down. You got all these opportunities. It's like you you did this, but where's all your money? Like,
Hmm.
and my mom's like, you be having. I said, when it comes to money, I guess I'm like manic, because it's like I just spend, 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 spend,
Yeah.
spend, and then it's like I don't have no money left. Like, what the heck did I just do with my money? Um, and it took a toll on my life, and it's slowed me down. And it's making it harder for me when it doesn't need to be that hard. When I have all the opportunities I need to be successful, so um, I really do feel you on that like level of note, and self health, importance to take care of my mental health, physically. So I feel that. I really do feel that. It's awesome. It's awesome you say those things. And it also helps me. So I appreciate that. Really, really inspiring. You truly are. So really, really like that. So what are some struggles that you faced in life?
I've had a lot of like anxiety over time. I feel like I transferred high schools growing up. I started my freshman year at the arts high school, and I was like, I'm going to do theater, and that's going to be the thing I do. And then I had just like had a falling out with like my main friends there. And like I felt really left out, and they weren't talking to me, and I would like go to sit with them in the cafeteria and no one would scoot over so I could have a seat. So then I have to like go. I was like, where do I go? And it's like, what am I gonna have to go eat lunch in the bathroom like those teen movies? I don't want to do that. Um, So I transferred schools back to my zone school, and that ended up being like a really good thing for me because at my zone school, I could actually study like all the arts. So I could take art class and writing and theater classes. And that was good for me because my creativity, like I can't fit it in one box. I need to like explore all the areas of creating. And I get bored of like creating one way, and I'm like, I need to switch it up. Like, we're going to direct a film now. We're going to do this now. We're going to do that now. And I just kind of follow my gut on that. But then college, I transferred colleges too. So I went to James Madison University in Virginia to be a theater major. There's a trend here. My in college, and it was this huge party school, and I like had never been to a party where there was alcohol before, and like my mom was like, don't ever drink alcohol, and I was like, yes, I will never drink alcohol. I swear in my life I will never drink alcohol. And I went to this huge party where it's like all the theater kids weren't nerds, they were like cool now, and they were drinking and like doing drugs, and I was like, what is this? I don't know what to do. And I just really struggled to find people like me or to like relate to people. And it was like the only other like club that like didn't drink or party was like a Christian club, and I didn't grow up Christian, and I was like, do I have to like pretend to believe in Jesus to like have friends? And I was like, that doesn't feel right. So I didn't join that club. But I did end up transferring, and then I transferred to William and Mary halfway through my sophomore year, and I went there instead. And then I just really loved that campus, and I love going back to like Colonial Williamsburg and just seeing the old historical buildings and stuff because I'm a history nerd. I just love spooky things like haunted places. I like to like go on history tours and hear the history that like is presented that's like palatable, and then I like to go read about the stuff they're not telling us and being like, oh, okay. So going there was great, and that was when that's when I ended up starting therapy. Was when I transferred to William and Mary, because I was like, I switched, I changed, I did all the things I was supposed to. Why am I still depressed? And then I had like, so at JMU, when I was really depressed and not fitting in there, I had gone to like on school counseling, like university counseling, and I had terrible experience where my like therapist I was assigned didn't understand what I was saying. Like there was a language barrier. And so I would like say stuff to her, and then she would repeat back to me what I said, but it was like, I was like, I think I'm going to transfer. I don't know if I should switch majors. I don't know. And then she was like, so you're giving up on your dream. And I was like, whoa, that's it, because she was like a therapist in training. And then with the language barrier, I think she just wasn't communicating what like she meant to say, or understanding what I was saying. And so she's like, you're giving up on your dream. I'm like, I never said that. That's like the one thing I'll never do. Like, and then like, she'd be like, you say you're like depressed, but I don't see you cry. And I'm like, I don't know you. You're a stranger. Like, I don't like, and the funny thing is the therapist I've had since college. And like, I found her by asking around. My mom asked around, and my grandma's friend went to her because my grandma had like, her friend had lost several loved ones like in a very short span of time. Ooh. And she was like, you have to go see this woman, Julie. She's like great. And so I went and saw her, and the first thing she said is like, she said, we're going to talk for 3 sessions. And then at the end of the 3rd session, you don't like me and you don't feel like you're getting anything out of this, you can leave, and I'm not going to hold anything against you.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, I already trust you just because you said that. Like you made this about like dating you and making sure we're compatible, and like you want what's best for me already right out the gate. And so I've worked with her ever since. And I even live in Texas now, and I call her on the phone. And I tried to see someone else, and once again, it didn't go well. And once again, that therapist was like, why aren't you crying? And I'm like, ah. And then my therapist, I've never cried in therapy with my therapist. And I like told her that. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. You don't have to. It's like part of being alive is knowing where you can cry, where it's safe, and you cry in those places. But it's like, if you're like in med school and you're like working on a cadaver lab, you can't start crying there. Like you just can't. Like you have to be able to. And I think that's something too. It's like, yes, we need to emotionally express. Yes, we need to emotionally express, but we also need to be able to do it where it's appropriate. And that's a skill. And so it's like, there's certain places, like when you're in danger, you can't be crying. You just have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made me feel better. And so now it's like, I know when I cry and where I cry, and it's at my home around the people that I know, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly where you cry though. For real, for real, for real. True facts like that. True like that. So the last question I want to ask is, what other things would you like to tell people about you?
I think, what else about me? I'm an artist, I'm a creative. I know I am identifying as that. I think the thing is, we're all souls. I'm like one of those people that's like, we're just souls having a human experience. But I truly do believe that. I truly believe you can't get your life wrong. You can't make mistakes. You can't make wrong choices. You can, on the one level, on the like surface earth level, but on the like spiritual level, like those mistakes are just teaching moments. They're just moments for your soul to grow. It's just moments for you to learn and try new things. So it's like, if there's something that you're like just like beating yourself up about, like you don't need to beat yourself up about it. Like it's there to teach you, to help you grow. And if you're not ready to grow, that's okay. There's going to be a time you're ready to grow. And so it's like, I think that's the thing too, is like, you can't get the timing wrong. So it's like, I'm 27 and I'm not on Saturday Night Live. I'm not writing a TV show yet. I don't know when I will be. I could be 67 and get my first TV show. And then that timing would be right. It's okay. Like there are no wrong answers. It's just showing up every day and trying to make the most out of life. And that's what I've really been getting the message again and again and again. And it's just like, okay, well then I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the things that bring me joy. I'm going to like, I was very nervous about calling myself a director up until recently. I directed my own web series. I just did like the first pilot episode of a web series. I had never directed a film before. And I was like, I wrote it, I acted in it, and I directed in it, and I just did the thing, and I could do the thing, and I loved doing the thing. And so now it's like, I was nervous about calling myself like a writer, director, actor. And now I'm like, screw it. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm going to call myself that because I can, and I have the freedom to take up that space. And I think that's the thing, is like, don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to like step into who you are and know that you matter. You have value. Like you're on this earth for a reason, even if it's just to be here. And that's reason enough. So just show up and breathe, because that's what you're here to do.
Like that. That's a positive message, especially for the people our age, like especially for those that are in their early 20s or like just starting to get into their 20s, like 18, 19. That's important because
Yeah.
they feel like what we're taught on social media is that we should rush our life.
Yes.
Everybody's getting all this money here and there. They're buying these nice cars at like 18 and 19 and 17 and 16 and 21 and 22. And it's telling us that we should rush our life. We should be quick. We should move fast. But the thing is, I'm even starting to learn that when you move fast, you miss out on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
You miss out on that fun journey that you would be able to enjoy on that road to getting where you want it to be, because it's a journey to every destination. So that message that you just said, where like, you're 27, you may not be on Saturday Night Live, but you're doing what you love doing. You're still directing your own stuff, your own web series, is inspiring, because it's basically telling people to slow down and to keep on doing what you love and don't rush your life, because your time will come whenever you want the things that you've been wanting.
Yeah. And then my last shout out, I feel like it's really important. Is I just read this book called The Magic of Surrender by Coot Blackson. And like I'm recommending that to everybody to like read. I did it on an audiobook. But this like book just found me at the right time. And it's like it's like really aligns with like, oh yeah, that's everything I believe about life right now. So The Magic of Surrender by Coot Blackson, read that. And I feel like that just helps people be better people. I
Mm,
feel like I feel like it should be like the kind of thing you get like in high school, your senior year. It's like give that person to a kid that's graduating because that's
I
gonna
wish
help them.
I wish teachers would did that to us, but
Yeah,
hey, as we know, a lot of them are. eh,
yeah, yeah.
I can't with them. But yeah, Haley, thank you so much. I do
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for talking with me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You had such an inspiring story. I'm glad we got to have this sit down. Um, it was beautiful. I can't wait to see more stuff that you release.
Yeah,
I did give you a follow on Twitter, so I'll definitely be checking out the stuff that you got going on. Um, it's really inspiring seeing you. And you're actually my first creative, my actual like first creative that's a writer and stuff like that. So like that's awesome. So yeah, most definitely. I look forward to seeing all the new things that you come up with, films or TV shows or web series, things that you drop. I can't wait to see all that. It's gonna be
yeah,
awesome. And
awesome. And I'm excited for you to have your own either news spot or talk show, whatever you want to do. Just like that space to
that
like share stories with
is
people.
that's one of my goals. My goal is to eventually get a studio space and
Yeah,
go around my hometown, which I'm from Dallas, so Dallas, Texas is huge.
yeah,
And go around and basically ask people on the streets to come up to my studio office and basically do a one-on-one interview with them on camera for um, basically my YouTube channel, which
well,
has which
I'll executive produce it once I have the money. The
oh
time
yeah,
comes.
exactly.
I'll
See,
do it. Here you go.
hey,
Fund it.
Haley, I need you. Come down to the studio right now. We need you. I need you to get all the good camera angles and good shots. And
Yeah.
like I need that help. Like we need that. But yeah, that's like it's one of my big things. And hopefully one of these days, if it does come true, we'll be able to have it on an actual TV station.
Yeah, that would be cool.
NBC 15 or
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey
Yeah.
network might host it. Just one of these TV networks or even on Hulu or
Hmm.
Netflix as a TV show, something like that. That's one of my little goals too, is to probably get it out even further than just YouTube because YouTube is awesome, but it's basic. But once you get into like the actual networks where everybody's watching,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Then people can tune in. So yeah, most definitely. But I really do thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. We'll be talking in the future, most definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Haley, you have a good one.
You too.
All right,
Bye.
bye.